Hey friends, how you doing? It's me, Christiana Gaudet, your tarot fairy godmother. It's Thursday. That means it's time for the Tarot Topics weekly newsletter recap. Do you get the Tarot Topics weekly newsletter in your inbox every Wednesday? If not, the link to remedy that is right in the description. So each week I write about a different topic and it comes in your inbox on Wednesday, and then on Thursday I come on and we do readings about that topic. So this week the topic is making friends. And there's a lot to be said about this. But here's a couple of things that I would say. One, I don't think we get a lot of training in sort of how friendships are supposed to work. And I think friendships are so inherently important to us at every stage of life. And I think the importance is minimized, and I think the pain and suffering is often minimized. The sort of stereotype about tarot readers, what I do for a living, what some of you do for a living, is that we spend all the time counseling people on their romantic life. Now, to be fair, we do some of that, for sure. But I would say I spend equal amount of time dealing with friend issues and family issues and workplace people issues. I mean, people issues are people issues, and friend issues can create as much heartache as any other relationship heartache. And so, another thing, of course, that I mentioned is the bond that we have as friends in the divination community, in the tarot community, is pretty special. That is, I had someone once say to me at a tarot meetup, your tarot friends are your best friends. And I love that. I think that's true, for sure. So y'all know what to do, and I see a lot of you have already done it. I am interested in answering any kind of questions about friendship. It could be a particular relationship you're not sure how to handle. It could be looking for new friends. It could be general. It could be specific, whatever you like. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who came to our live stream last night in celebration of the solstice. If you missed it, no problem with going back and watching the replay and doing the exercises whenever you get a chance. Thanks, everyone. It was a lot of fun. Remember, if you are a member of this channel, we have a members-only live stream coming up on the 29th of this month, and the link for that is already up. We're doing comparative tarot. We're going to play with different kinds of tarot traditions and tarot images and do readings with them and sort of see how that all works. So if you're a member, make sure you join us. All right. Here we go. So nice to see all of you. Thanks so much for being here. Special shout out, of course, to the members and moderators. As you can see, I'm using, for the topic of friendship, my trusty old friends, the Spiral Tarot. And Justine, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for being a moderator. Great topic this week, and so timely for our transition into the summer season. Exactly. That's what I was thinking about, is what was summer like when I was young? It was all about getting together with your friends because we didn't have school, we didn't have to work. And summer feels weirder now because we still have to work, but we still want to play with our friends. But anyway, mix you here. Michelle, thanks for being here. Ironically, I'm having a minor existential crisis about friendship at the moment. Is it ironic? Or, when I decide on a newsletter topic, I really do take a minute and try to sort of come into the collective consciousness to, feel that. And so maybe I just picked up your need. How can I better keep pals, but be more discerning when I meet people? I want to be pals with everyone, and then I get hurt. True buds are hard to find. Plus, with ADHD, I have no sense of time, so I can literally go years without seeing my closest friends. I totally understand all of that. I totally get that. And that's all hard stuff. It really is. So first of all, Let's start with being discerning. And I think as we get older, we can be much more intentional and much more verbal about our intentions when we're forming friendships. And I think it's perfectly okay to say, I really enjoy, like we do with dating. When we're dating, we kind of put it out there, right? I enjoy you. I'd like to see you again. I enjoy you. Whatever it is, right? There it is. With friendship, I think we can do the same thing. And I know I have to give my friends a disclaimer. Much like you, but maybe for different reasons. I don't mean to ignore my friends, but it happens. And that's just part of it. So to be my friend, you have to know this will happen and not take it personally. And don't be afraid to nudge me if you need to. So I think for you on the outset, it's about being more verbal about what you need in a friendship and what you can provide in a friendship and what the expectation should be. So setting expectations. I think it's also, there is some part of you that is really insecure and that questions whether you're even likable. So you want everybody to like you, just, because that feels like, will there be people who like you? And I think you have to, maybe even the very first thing you have to do, Michelle, is make friends with yourself and recognize that you are likable. Now, in terms of the friends that you have, I think, there are times when we outgrow a friend and it's always good to keep a friend, right? But sometimes friendships shouldn't be kept. So I don't know that we can put so much value on you have to keep every single friendship, because I think sometimes you let go of friendships because you need to let go of friendships. And then I think you maybe shame yourself or other people shame you, but some friendships have a lifespan. The friendships that are going to be lifelong friendships, there's more of them now because of social media, but they're still few and far between. So I feel like, honestly, what really needs to happen here, what your existential crisis really is, in my opinion, is your own relationship with yourself and your own errant sense of how relationships and friendships are and should be. That's part of it. Oh, and thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it. All right, Justine, thanks for being a member. Thanks for being a moderator. What social skills am I lacking that make it hard for me to connect with others? Sometimes I feel like my expression comes off too intense. I have trouble building natural rapport. How do the cards see that? Yeah, that's a great question. And thanks for using members-only emojis. Here's how I see it. Yeah, for some people, you probably are too intense. That's probably true. But should you stop being intense? No. You should look for the people who like your intendancy, and the rest of them can F off. You're not going to like every person. Not every person's going to like you. Now, there is sort of that social skill of, it's like the cocktail party skill. The skill to chit-chat and have friendly banter and enjoy a meal or do a social event with people who are not really friends, who are friendly social acquaintances. And to be able to do that. And I think, Justine, you would like to be able to do that. But let's be really clear about what that is, right? So if you have the group of friendly social acquaintances, you can't really be yourself. You can't really show who you are. You have to stay witty. You have to stay engaged. You can do that, and that is a skill. And it's a good skill. It's a skill we use in business. It can be fun. So to learn that skill, yes, I think you need to learn that skill. The problem is it's going to feel disingenuous. And, when we talk about close friends, tight friends, the people who really are your friends, these are the people who, you know, if you're not for them, they're not for you. It's okay. And I think this goes back to what I was saying to Michelle, is I feel like there probably is like a need to make friends with yourself. Like there's a low self-esteem thing going on here, or a thing of, well, if I'm not fitting in here, why don't people like me? What's going on? And you know, now that I'm older, like I can speak not only from the wisdom of the cards, but I can speak to some extent from the wisdom of age, because I have some of that now. And I look back at like the times and places where I felt like I didn't fit in, or I felt like I was, you know, needed to jockey for position. And now I'm like, why? In the love of all that is holy, did I care about fitting in with that particular group of people? And it's not that I think that particular group of people is bad or evil, but why did I care so much? Why does it matter? There's so many people on the planet. I'm never going to meet them all, let alone be friends with them all. So I do feel like some of this is a mindset thing. And that natural rapport that you see, that happens infrequently. And when it happens, like Justine, I know I like it when my friends have it with each other. And I think about it and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Or sometimes it's like, I wouldn't have predicted that. And you and my friend Shoki have a nice rapport. That's a natural rapport, happened really easily. And, you know, because you're both friends of mine, I know it, you know, I see it. I'm excited for it. I hope you'll come visit so we could all play. But anyway, the point is that natural rapport that we feel with someone is rare for all of us. It's a beautiful thing when it happens. It'll happen more often in a community of like-minded people than just out in the wild. But I think you're mistaking that cocktail party social grace, the networking, the in-person networking social grace, for natural rapport. Those are not the same thing. You know, so like if you're a professional tarot reader and you meet with people individually, you have to create that rapport and it has to feel natural. But that is a professional thing, you know, that your doctor needs to do, that your attorney needs to do. So I think there are some skill sets here, but that need to be worked on. But it's going to start by revising a definition of terms and making better friends with yourself. Does that make sense? All right. Trey Cameron, nice to see you. As of right now, I don't really have any friends. I'm not upset about it because I'm pretty okay being alone. Will I ever make one close friend in my life? If so, any info about who this person might be? So the first question is like, how okay are you? And I mean, you have some social interaction. Obviously, you might game with people and that's social. You come here and it's social, but it's controlled social. It's limited social. And so the first thing I got to ask, Trey, is are you really okay with that being what your social life is right now? And the answer is yes, right now you are. Because right now you're learning how to be your friend. Right now you're learning how to do you. And it's okay. It really is okay. Will you have a good friend in your life? Yes, at least one. And the time may come when you have quite a few of them. Friends, lovers, all the things, whatever. Just right now, and maybe historically, it hasn't been the case, and it doesn't have to be the case anytime soon. But at some point, I think it will be. All right. I love that we're all identifying with each other. Like I'm looking at people and I'm like, yep, been there, been there, been there. And then I see you all interacting with each other, you know, sort of like, yeah, I feel that way. I feel that way. Like there's so much commonality here. And I love that, you know. But the thing is, if we're all experiencing this sort of exquisite discomfort, then probably It's sort of this larger issue around what society expects us to, or what society trains us to expect versus, what the reality is or something. All right, let's see. Fedborn, so happy to see you. Thanks for being here. That poem on friendship I would love to experience. Am I overlooking someone? If not, will I get to experience such a lovely human being? So without even looking at the cards, just because I know you a little, Fedborn, I would have to say, well, it wouldn't make sense if you didn't, because you yourself are a lovely human being. And like attracts like. But let's take a look. Are you overlooking someone? Is there someone there? There probably is at least one person around you that could be a better friend if you let them. Not a huge number of people, but maybe one. And what do I think about you having really special friendships in the future? You're very guarded for a lot of reasons. So there's not going to be a huge number of them, but there'll be at least one, yes. Yes. Joyous Ocean, nice to see you. Thanks for being a member. I love this thread. This community is awesome, and thanks for using members-only emojis. It really is. It really is. Barbie Bird, so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I find it so challenging keeping up with friendships and feeling safe, questioning my discernment over the last year or so when trying to connect with others, only to find out they're not my people. Right? I don't know if that's your question, and I can just read on that. I'm just sort of scrolling. Here it is. Okay, so I do see there is actually a question, so I'll wait till I get there. But yes, yeah, it's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. Von Ray, nice to see you. Thanks for being a member. We appreciate you. It seems like I keep getting friends in my life that receive help, inspiration from me, and then disappear, as recently as this year. I don't know what else to do to find friends that are going to be in my life long term. I need some guidance as I'm very lost now. Well, and that might be a sign that you should start hanging your shingle as a tarot reader, or in some other way get into a people helping role. So you can get paid for the thing that people naturally seek you out to do. It's not that I think you've done anything wrong. And I think all of us will have some of these people in our lives, but I think those of us that are natural healers and natural helpers, like I think you are, like I am, like a lot of us here are, it's going to happen. It's not your fault. The question is, where do you find the people that are actually there for the friendship? Because it ends up making you feel used. And it really probably at the core of it is not, that you're being used, but it makes you feel that way. So what about real friendship? It'll happen just like real love will happen. It will happen. Are you looking in the wrong places? Are you doing the wrong things? No, in fact, I think you're pretty smart about it. You just can't give up. You got to keep doing it. Keep doing it. Don't give up. Keep doing it. Also, do not give up. And, once in a while, someone sticks. And that's the bottom line. Lit, nice to see you. Oh my, this is so on point. I'm going back to see my friends next week. I really miss them. I get so lonely where I'm at. I'm wondering if there's something I should keep an eye on while I'm around there. Very good. Very good. I think this is going to be a good trip. I think there's a lot you're going to learn. There's some things you'll heal from. There's some things you're going to experience. But I don't have a particular warning unless one or some of your friends like to party a lot, and or if there is some possibility for an inappropriate romantic liaison. Those are two things you need to watch out for. Otherwise, I think it is good to have that reconnection. Quentin Michael Harrius, Renata, so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. I love this topic. Thank you. As a society, we tend to value only romantic love when platonic love is just, if not more, important, right? Right. Here we go. Renata. Oh, I haven't actually gotten to your question yet. Sorry. Here we go. One thing that you pointed out in the newsletter that got me thinking was that as kids, we have limited resources to make friends. Right. It's like, who's in your geographic vicinity and who's in your grade at school? Really? Really? But even though that's limited, it's still easier. Like, you're expected to make friends when you're kids. It's expected, right? It even reflects in the media. Most movies about friendship are child movies, right? We barely have friendship breakup songs as well, and friendships can hurt even more than a romance, right? Right, so true, so true. None of that is your question yet, but it's all so true. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And Lisa Harmon, thanks for being a member. Thanks for being here. Says, I have some acquaintance friends, but I don't have close friends, right? Okay, so next question. Jenny, nice to see you. I have trouble maintaining friendships. I get overwhelmed easily, so I end up ghosting people a lot, even when I don't mean to. I always explain what happens, but not everyone understands. How can I navigate my friendships in a lighter way? You know, Jenny, I think you're doing the best you can. I think, maybe like what I said to Michelle to mix you here might help you as well. Let people know in advance. Look, here's the thing with me. I've got this stuff that happens, and sometimes I get overwhelmed, and I might just ghost you. And if I do, don't take it personally. If I'm mad at you, if I don't want to talk to you, I'll let you know. If you don't hear from me, it's just because I can't deal for a minute. And that's just how it is. So I think if you let people know in advance, if there are people who can't deal with that or can't understand that or can't empathize with that, F them anyway. Who wants to be friends with people like that? I think most people, if you let them know in advance, will empathize and will say, well, if I don't hear from you, should I check on you? What's your address? Should I send you candy? What should I do? And I think that's how you need to navigate it. So I don't think it's a lighter way. In fact, I think it's the opposite of that. I think it's the be honest with people before you have to. And thank you, everyone, for your feedback. I really do appreciate it. There is such, just so much feedback. I can't read it aloud right now because there's just so much of it in the interest of time. But I hope y'all take the time and come back to this thread. Take the time with this thread today and come back to it because there's a lot of really good stuff. Karen Hendershot. Oh, you're up next, and thank you for being here. Thanks for being a member, Karen. I want to say one thing. I was just sort of reading over Justine's comment about how the cocktail skills, like really, this is not building friendship skills that you're looking for as much as it is cocktail party skills, in-person networking skills, and the fact that that's banter. It's mindless, casual banter, and it feels disingenuous. And a lot of people, especially people who are sort of like naturally introverted, hate it, hate banter, hate meaningless banter. And in fact, I heard once that that's the true definition of an introvert versus an extrovert. Introverts and extroverts are both social people, and they both like to be social, and they both like people. Extroverts are really good at the cocktail thing. They have the cocktail skill. They've got the social banter. Introverts don't. So I just think that's a very interesting distinction. I wanted to make it not just for Justine, but for all of us. Okay, Karen, please excuse me. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a member. I have a friend, in quotation marks, and sometimes question if it's a true friendship. I know she lies, but I think she's lying to herself, not just me. What do the cards have to say about that? And I know you, and I know how much you value honesty. So that's hard. Is she intentionally lying to you? Is she lying to herself? and thereby you, let's see. You know, the thing is, when we look at who she is as a person, she is not a malicious person and she's not a dishonest person. And when we look at how she feels about you, you know, the thing is, she does care about you. She really does. She is a friend, but she can be a little manipulative with you. And I think it's because she believes that she has more problems or more responsibilities or just more things going on than you do or something. So there may be energies in this relationship that are a little weird, but none of it comes from a place of dishonesty or malice. Now, the lying, whether it's to you or to her, and then to you, you know, lying to herself and, you know, then lying to you by extension. A little bit of both, probably. But it's all out of overwhelm and embarrassment. She is a person, I think, who has a very clear sense of how things should be. This is supposed to be this way. I'm supposed to do it this way. I'm supposed to do this thing. And it's supposed to be this way. And so if it's not, I have to cover my ass. I don't think she sees it as lying. I think she sees it as covering her ass. And I do think she lies to herself. I think she has a lot of denial because there's been a lot that has happened in her life that has been difficult. And like anyone else, she can only handle it in little pieces. So I think that's really what you're looking at there. Now, that said, even though I can assure you it's not intentional malice or dishonesty, you know, if you can find compassion for that and keep the friendship, great. If you can't, there is no responsibility incumbent upon you to. If you don't like it, you don't like it. And that's the way it is. You know, there's no law that says, well, since it's not intentional or it's not malicious, then you have to like it. You know, you still get to choose. All right. Mediha Ness, so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member here. I'm usually fine with being friends with people who think and live completely different than I do. I respect their life. In the end, they end up thinking I'm too something. It ends up awkward. I'm glad to have new tarot friends here. Oh my gosh, yes. I don't know what I'd do without my tarot friends. Oh my gosh. Mediha Ness, what advice does Spirit have for me in terms of friendship? So for you, Mediha Ness, the advice is you're a person who needs really good boundaries and you need privacy. You don't want too many close friends. I know that sounds funny, but you don't. You don't want too many close family members in a way. You know, like you really need your space and you need to pick and choose. On the other hand, to be able to, in specific settings, enjoy the comfort and the ease of communication with people who get you, with people you can laugh with people who hear you and see you and value you. You haven't had enough of that in your life, Ness. I'm going to say it again. You haven't had enough of that in your life. And because you haven't had enough of that in your life, I think that you try to make friends with any people that you think you possibly could, even when it's really not going to work. And it's okay to be friendly with everyone. That's fine. It's okay to accept everyone. But I think that, you know, most of us in our lifetimes, and the more creative, the more complex, the deeper we are, you know, the harder it is. Most of us will only have, we'll have plenty of friendly acquaintances, but only a handful of really close friends in our lifetime. And for you, Mediha, I think that, you know, you are a very likable person. You don't have the time and energy to invest in just anyone. So I think you're going to be friendly with just anyone, but you are only going to invest in a very few. And I think in community groups where you enjoy the topic, I think you'll do a lot of that. So I hope that, I don't know if that was just random and rambling or if that was helpful. I don't know. All right. Right, Karen Hendershaw, and that's it. Your trust issues are real. The person is a decent person. Your trust issues are real, so you get to choose. And that's the other thing in friendship. It's like, what do we owe another person? Like, I sort of believe that if someone asks for help and it's in my power to help, then I have sort of a duty. Or even if they don't ask, if I see that someone needs help and I can offer that help, I feel some spiritual duty to do it. But that is my spiritual duty. I don't believe I owe it, So, I don't know that we owe anyone our friendship. But if we don't extend our friendship to someone, then they don't owe us anything either, It's like that. It's a partnership, it's a deal, it's a bargain, right? All right. And there's some interesting conversation going on around lying that, Karen, you especially might want to look through. Smile Soul 20, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Barbie Bird, here you are. I'm fairly new to this. Hang on. And then I overscrolled. I'm coming. Really, I'll be there in a minute. I'm scrolling. There you are. Barbie Bird, thanks so much for being a member. I'm fairly new to this, but if we're able to ask for guidance, I'd love to know what advice you may have for me in regards to my current friendships and how my friends feel about me. I think, Barbie, in general, I feel like you have been wise in your choosing of friends. Like the people that you think of as friends, for the very most part, really are friends. There may be one who's a little two-faced, but for the most part, I think you have decent friends. And I think your friends in general think that you're smart, trustworthy, honest, and a decent communicator. And they see that you've been through something, that your friends have some compassion for you right now because you seem to be healing from something, but they feel like you're doing well. That's what I think. Catherine Fan, it's so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. I often find it hard to connect with people on a deeper level. My best friends have all moved away and are spread across the world. Boo hiss! And I find it difficult to make new close friends. Do you have any advice on how I could nurture new or old meaningful connections? I know how hard that is. So, Catherine, you definitely have to take your time to get to know people. Like for you, you've got concentric circles of trust, right? And you have to know someone and you have to let them in incrementally. And it takes time. And I think the big advice is to know that this is true. And so if you meet someone locally and today you say hi to them and tomorrow you say hi to them, and after 2 months of saying hi, we realize that we both stopped for coffee at the same place, so now maybe we're having coffee together, and it's increments, time, it takes time, allow it to be like that. And that's the right way, that's not the wrong way, so be patient. And in terms of sort of regenerating old connections, well, social media has made that so easy because now it is perfectly socially acceptable unless you have specific drama with a person and you haven't blocked each other. In any other circumstance than that, it is perfectly socially acceptable to reach out to someone on social media and say, hey, I was just thinking about you, haven't seen you in a while, how you doing? And so that's always a good idea. But I think you are deeply missing the local friends that you had who have moved away. And I think there's a piece of that. I think there's a grief there. And that is not going to be replaceable. New things will come in. You'll make new friends, but you had a period of time when you had something really nice and cohesive. And that was lovely. And you have to kind of hold space for missing that. There's that too. Janine Barnes, so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Sarah, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I don't have many close friends, but I am friendly. I feel like we're close even though I don't talk to my friends every day. Do they feel the same closeness with me? The kind of question I often wonder, right? Yeah. Yes, I think you have friends that absolutely know that if you need them or they need you, it's ride or die. It's in a heartbeat. So yes, I think so, yes. Kristen Louise, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. How do I deal with my social anxiety? Even though I've been told I'm easy to talk to, it makes me feel like I can't connect well and like an outsider. I know how hard that is. Oh my gosh. And I would say acknowledge it for what it is and like exactly what you just did. When you're feeling it, like then you have to be able to say, this makes me feel like an outsider, but I'm not an outsider. Sometimes, like in the Bible, you have to name, like Jesus had to name a demon for the demon to go away. Sometimes with anxiety and depression, we have to name them, we have to call them out, we have to say, that's what I'm feeling. This is not real. This is an outer, artificial thing coming in. And I think if, that's going to be easier than just like, poof, it's gone. It's going to take a while for it to go away. So just acknowledging it and recognizing that the feelings aren't real, I think could be really helpful. And then, be very aware of like, where's it better? Where's it worse? Bigger groups, smaller groups, what kind of environment? Louder, quieter? Where are you most comfortable? Where are you least comfortable? And honor yourself that way. All right, Claire C., thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member here. We appreciate you. Any advice about making traveling friends? Yeah, be super, super careful. It is better to travel alone than to have a bad traveling friend. Traveling friends can ruin your life. But it is good to kind of know people where you are. You know what I mean? So it's hard. I would say very, very carefully and try to manifest it magically. Like when you take a trip, look for people or take group trips and sort of see who you like or who you don't like. I think it'll happen over time, but I'd be careful about it. Faith, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. How do my friends view me? I think, Faith, people think that you're smart. People think that you are nice. I think people generally really like you. Except there's something. There's a specific thing that I feel like your friends know that you're not the best at doing that thing. It may be a game that everyone plays and you never win that game. That kind of thing. But for the most part, I think people really like you and appreciate you. Yolanda, it's so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member here. I thought Em was a good friend, but I think she screwed me over. What happened? I am so sorry. All right. I don't think she meant any malice. Whatever happened here, her intention was not malice, was not malicious. What she did, I think she feels she did because she did not have a choice. Now, whether she did or did not have a choice or whatever, I'm not here to argue that. I'm just saying, I think that what she did, she didn't do out of malice. She didn't do to screw you over. She did it because she felt like she didn't have a choice. Christina R., so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Funnily enough, I'm hanging out with the same friend for the second time this week. Haven't hung out with her in a couple of months. Oh, I'm so glad you're having some time to do that. Divine Abundance, nice to see you. What does Spirit want me to know regarding friends? That you are a person who does not like conflict and you feel guilty really easily. Like you feel guilty about things that are not your fault. And so that means like you could be easy prey for manipulative people who pretend to be your friends and you won't speak out on your own behalf and then you'll feel guilty and you'll let them manipulate you. So you need to be careful. You have to be willing to speak out and willing to only be friends with people who deserve your friendship. Here it is, Renata, Quinn Kilharius. My question is, I do a lot of diverse activities, yet I can't seem to find someone that interests me enough to deepen the relationship and be friends. What's going on? Well, there's a lot of boring people in the world. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, Renata, you just don't have time. And that sounds a lot snottier than I meant it to, but there's nothing going on. What you're seeing is the reality is that your tastes have become so refined and you're so busy. Janine, it's okay. I will do yours. That's not a problem. When I get to it, I will do it because our boyfriends are our friends too. So I'll absolutely do it. Yes. So Renata, I think it's just the way of it. I don't think it's anything like deeply spiritual or anything you're doing or anything. It's just that as you've gotten older, you've become more refined in your tastes. And there's a lot of dang boring people out there that you don't have time for. You can say hi and enjoy them at the event, but you don't have to spend extra time with them. Your time is valuable. And when you find someone that is worth your valuable time, you will spend that time with them, and so you shall and so you will. That's what I think. Joyous Ocean, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members-only emojis. I have more friends that I can keep up with that I've collected over the years, so I hesitate to make new friends. But in this dating process, I feel like my life partner should be a good friend. And the people that I meet just want to be friends, and that's all. What's that about? Okay, so I've got a couple of comments. First of all, there's no such thing as too many friends. What you may be talking about is friendly acquaintances with social obligations. And it's okay to say no to social obligations. I agree that your life partner should be a friend. But then what I hear you saying is that the people you're meeting are friend zoning you. And like, you don't owe them your friendship if you don't want to. Like, if you're friend zoned and you don't want to be friend zoned, then you got to be done with that. You know, if that serves you no purpose, you're all set for friends. You don't need that. You know, so can you be open to more friends? Of course. From the dating perspective, the dating rejects that are like, can we be friends? F that. I mean, unless there's like a really real reason that you want that person as a friend, you are not obliged. So you're not obliged socially unless there's a reason that you are. Generally, you're not. And you're not obliged to be friends with the dating rejects, whether you're the rejector or rejectee. Why is it that everyone that you're meeting seems to just want to be friends? There has definitely been something out of balance in your romantic life since day one. And there is an energy there that I know you're working on, and that makes it, you know, that's part of it. It's going to shift. You'll end up with what you're looking for in the long run. It'll happen. But in the meanwhile, just remember, like, there's what you owe people and there's what you don't owe people. And I would be really clear on that. Ha! Justine, amen. There are a lot of boring and uninteresting people out there. I feel like this is the number one reason I have trouble finding friends, like-minded people to become friends with. Right? Can we here in this group of people who enjoy tarot and psychism and divination, can we just all agree amongst ourselves that perhaps we who explore these topics are more interesting than the average person? Maybe? Could we do that? Okay, Lisa Harmon, thanks for being a member. I appreciate you. I feel like I have only a superficial relationship with friends. Nothing deeper, meaningful. Any suggestions? Yeah, it has everything to do with your past. It has everything to do with your ancestry. It has everything to do with the fact that at a certain time in your life, you were expected to be the way you were told to be, not the way you are. And so you haven't learned how to be the way you are with people as fully as you ultimately will learn to. Keep working on it. Keep working on diving into being yourself, and you will naturally attract deeper friendships and relationships. That's what I think. So, Denise, yes, we are very interesting. We really are. And Justine says, I feel like this sounds snotty, but it's true. And the thing is, on a spiritual level, I really do believe that there is sort of a spiritual imperative and, so many good reasons to hold every single being on the planet in love, to love everyone, love thy neighbor. When I went to Christian school, I had a teacher who said about someone she didn't like, I love him in Jesus, but that's it. I think there's value in that. So we can spiritually love everyone, agape for everybody. But when it comes to friendship, when it comes to philios, when it comes to the people I'm going to align myself with and affiliate myself with, yeah, no, that's a whole different thing. And no, that's not snobby. That's just how you see it. All right. Julie, I don't like to have friends, but I like SRK and SS as my friends, and sometimes more other people. Can you pull out cards for me? So I don't really understand what the question is there. I feel like the people you're talking about maybe aren't your friends at all. Maybe you want them to be your friends, but they're not. Or maybe they're people who use you. I think there's a lot going on in your connection with, I think, Julie, there may be a lot going on around the connection you make with people. So that's something you're going to need to work on, I think. Lisa Harmon, I didn't say it, but I was wondering if it was my past that was part of the reasons I had problems with friendships. Absolutely, yeah. Ness. Christiana, I think the people you attract are open-minded and respectful and interested in more than the surface. Thank you for our community. Well, thank you for being one of those people. Absolutely, yeah. And, I've been building community in person, online, and now StarCon, which, is the biggest attempt at this in my lifetime. And there is how do you get to gather, you really have to set those intentions that's what you want. And that also involves setting intentions for what you don't want, which, to Justine's point, does feel a little snobby, but you can't have one without the other. Boundaries. It's all important. Boundaries are important. And Betty Flesher, thank you for being a member and thank you for saying this. StarCon is the most amazing place to meet like-minded friends. It really is. Whether you're in person or online, and this year more than ever because the Afterglow lasts for a full year. So we'll be meeting for a full year from the end of one StarCon to the beginning of the next. We'll be meeting in the lounges on Excel events and watching recordings of the presentations. So even more so is what I'm saying. And tickets for StarCon are available, so get your tickets. All right. Truthfully, nice to see you. This is a hard topic, and a lot of people are struggling with being a friend. Does my husband still view me as a friend, or is he just abusing the fact that we're married? I think the problem with your husband is he does care about you. He really, really does, yes. But I think he gets in his own head, and he just gets in his own head dealing with what he has to deal with. And so then he doesn't think about you. And it's not that he doesn't care about you. It's just he gets very tunnel vision. That's what happens. Joyous Ocean, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members-only emojis. And you are so deeply tuned into the universe. Thank you. I was texting a woman that I met who said she had no one else to talk to, and she was reaching out to me, and I met her June 3rd. There you go. Makes you weird. Justine and I have overlapping advice. This is advice for all of us, really. People like you or don't, and that's fine. Fatima, nice to see you. Do I have good or fake friends? Do they care about me or do they have a mask on? I'm going to say both. A little of both. I think most of your friends are okay, and you've gotten rid of most of the fake ones already. Oh, and here's your second part, Joyce Ocean. Your friend, she has no community that she felt comfortable with. I said it to a new friend, a man whose friend zoned me. He was curious about how do people build community. On some level, it's Field of Dreams. Just put it out there. But I think a lot of it really is just putting it out there, and it's very clearly setting the intention. I think that's part of it. Nalini Kalu, it's so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members only emojis. Will I be making new genuine friends soon? Yes. Yes. Sorry, some readings are long, some readings are short. Your reading is short. Yes, yes, you will. Just look for it. Thing is, you don't always believe that you're lovable and likable, but you are. So you just need to know that. DH, nice to see you. Thanks for being a member. What skills do I need to develop to turn acquaintances into friends? Step 1, discernment, to decide who you really want to be friends with. Step 2, patience, so that you can have accurate discernment. Step 3, personal security, knowing that your offer of friendship is a valuable offer, you know? So I think it's those things. It's those things. Anything else you need to know there? Boundaries. Boundaries. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the better we are at boundaries, the better relationships we have. Teresa, thanks for being a member. Thanks for being a moderator. We appreciate you. After my sister passed, which was recent, and we're still, we're just holding space for your grief. After my sister passed, an old friend reached out, and within a day, she was asking for money? What? Do my eyes deceive me? Am I reading this correctly? What the actual? I didn't help, but it isn't sitting right with me, and I don't think I really want her around. Well, okay, we're going to go to the cards, which is what you're here for, but my first reaction is probably more intense than yours was. I was like, what the actual? I can't even believe it. Bite me in the very large ass, why don't you? No, 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 and some more no. Oh my gosh, that's so gross. But let's see. So I am being judgmental, and I judge that, and I judge it harshly, and I don't mind judging it harshly, because that's some BS. Sorry. You know me. My Scorpio self will come out. Oh, you did help. Teresa, you did help. Oh, see, I wanted so badly it to be you didn't help. I'm reading it right here. You did help. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You did what you had to do. That's fine. That's fine. You're a better person than I am, Teresa. That's all I can say. Okay, so it's not you. No, I'm surprised you cracked open your wallet. My gosh. I'm not surprised, though, because I know you, and I've known you in person. I know who you are. I know your heart. So, no, I'm not surprised. And it says a good thing about you. If that's the worst thing I can say about you, you're doing fine as a human being. And you haven't heard from her since either. Right, okay, so the evidence, just personally, the evidence suggests a certain thing, but let's see what the cards say. What the heck was going on with this individual? I think this individual was lonely and had a need for money. This individual is probably not like a horrible human being, is probably just really immature or really stupid, and really hurt themselves. So I think like you did the compassionate thing, because even though you're really hurting and this person was out of line totally, You should have been the last person on her list to ask for help. But you did because she really is hurting. So I think the help was justified. The timing was off. That's what the cards say. Like my Scorpio self is up in arms, right? But the cards say she didn't mean anything bad. She really isn't bad straight, and it was good that you helped her. She wasn't trying to be a user-abuser. But she's not the best equipped on the planet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure all the lights on that Christmas tree are lighting up at this time. So you probably did the right thing, but you were also right to be put off by it. How's that? So no, you weren't wrong to help her, and you're not being judgmental. All right. PL Day, nice to see you. Thanks for being a member. I have a friend who became upset over something she thinks I said. I apologized if she misconstrued something I said. She replied she did not misconstrue anything. Is this worth pursuing? Okay, so again, here comes, before I do the reading, my Scorpio has to come out and say, F no, it's not. Right there. I did not misconstrue anything. Okay, let's see. But let's see what the cards say. Is this worth pursuing? I think you tried your absolute best to communicate openly and honestly with her. The fact that she won't hear it and she wants to stay in her outrage, it's like she's like rage farming herself. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. And it's going to be hard because she'll have a bad opinion of you now. And that bothers you because you're a good person and you like people to have a good opinion of you. But oh well. So a person has a ridiculous opinion. Oh well. Oh, Teresa, that feedback makes so much sense. Yep, absolutely. Okay, George, can I be friends with Sherry in the future? Probably not. For a minute here and there, but I'd be careful. PLJ, this is a super important point. I think if someone knows me, they would know I would never say something mean or hurtful on purpose. Bang! Yeah, there it is. Adrija Roy. So nice to see you. I recently came to know that you, who used to be my trustable friend, and recently came to know she said horrible stuff behind my back from another friend, M. Do you think M can be trusted? Not 100%. There is definitely, And do I think you will apologize? I think this whole thing has been blown out of proportion. I think it might make sense if you really want to try to make this friendship work, is if the three of you can have a conversation together and say, okay, what's true, what's not? And if they refuse to do that, then don't be friends with either of them. But if they're willing to do that, then I think it would be okay. Prayer, so nice to see you. Do I have friends at work? If so, will they contribute toward my growth, or do they want to blame me for everything that's going wrong? Work friends are hard. I mean, there are people who do really become your work friends, but we also have to be really careful because, business is business, man. So, do you have friends at work? Some. But can you count on them to have your back? I think you have friendly people at work that you could even be friends with outside of work, but don't trust them to always have your back at work. Do I think they will throw you under the bus and blame you for things? Sometimes. Sometimes. So yeah, I think that can be an issue. Oh, this is a good one. Remember, we were talking about introverts and extroverts. Teresa just added something really smart to this. Introverts draw energy through self-reflection. Extroverts are energized by outer expression, not necessarily having to do with how social you are. So true. So true. Jackie Masters, yours is the next question that I see. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Do my ancestors and guides have any guidance on making space for new friends, nurturing current friendships, and having friendship with self? Yeah, it feels like it's hard for you to welcome new friends. Like you may even unconsciously set up barriers and boundaries that make it hard for you to welcome new friends. So you might need to consciously change that. And in terms of being friends with yourself, see, I feel like at the end of the day, you have negative self-talk. You say bad things to yourself. And I think that's the problem. I think if you could stop doing that, the domino effect on that would be amazing. That's what I think. I think that would help you. Like if you talked only nicely to yourself, that would help you nurture your current friendships. That would help you make new friends. Seriously. Satel, regarding my kids, does Spirit want me to be a better friend to them? Any advice from you and Spirit? Hang on a minute. Here it is. Okay. Any advice from Spirit? I get along better with my son, not so much my daughters. You know, it's not about being a better friend. It's about, would it make sense to change the way you parent at this stage of the game? And is it possible that you get along better with your son than your daughters because of cultural, socialized misogyny that you have within you and that you have perpetuated within your family? And is that something you want to unpack and change? So, no, you don't want to be better friends with your kids. You go find friends, let your kids find friends. You don't need to be friends with your kids. I don't care what age they are. You don't need to be friends with them. But you may need to adjust your relationship with them to be a better parent. Christina R. Between work and school, I've usually used up my ability to be social. I hear that. During this break, I feel like I have more ability to nurture friendships, but I don't have many friends. How can I remedy both the lack of friends and the lack of social ability when working and doing school? Well, first, I do want to remind you that you're only going to be working and doing school for a period of time. I know it still seems like forever, but it's not. And so if there's a period in your life when you're not that social, so be it. Okay, so in terms of making more friends, I mean, I think you're doing everything you can possibly do. It'll happen, and the thing is there's going to be a love relationship too, and so then there'll be couple friends. And in terms of, just the energy, the resource of energy when you're so busy, because the work you do is very, very people. And so, of course, by the time you're done, you're kind of peopled out. What do you do about that? I think what you have, the first I think is recognizing that school is temporary, but I think it's about nurturing the people who you feel so close to that you don't have to be any kind of way, and you can be absolutely tired and absolutely drained, and they can say, we're picking you up after work and we're going out to dinner, and that's what we're doing, and you can just sit there and stuff food in your face and feel loved and not have to stand on ceremony. It's nurturing those kinds of friends, the friends you can absolutely be yourself with. Oh, Jackie, will my divination tools help with my friendships? It depends on how you do it, but I think it should. And just in terms of making tarot friends, even that, yeah, I think it should. Winter, Rosemary. Advice for you as regards friendships. I mean, I think you're really good at giving people the benefit of the doubt, which is great until it's not. 9 times out of 10, it's really appreciated that you'll remember the good someone does rather than the bad. But there's that one time out of 10 when it's going to bite you in the butt. I just have to say that. Carolyn McLaughlin, thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members only emojis. I think I'm a good friend. Do the cards agree? Absolutely yes, and without a doubt. Janine, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being patient. And thanks for the super chat. So this is about your boyfriend. I know you apologized. I'm fine with doing your boyfriend here. Thank you. Does the super chat make me more fine? Of course it does. Yes. Thank you. My relationship is getting very toxic. What advice would you give? I'm not perfect, but my boyfriend can be so childish, stubborn, and contradictory. The thing is, I know the two of you really care about each other. I know that. And I know there's an investment there. The two of you are indeed invested in each other. But can this really work? I mean, there really is a question as to whether this can really work in the long run. And I think right now it has gotten so toxic, it's hard to come back from it. At the very least, I think y'all need to be in counseling. Probably each separately and also together. And I mean, if you're imagining your future without him and you're ready to let it go, but are afraid because of the things he'll say, and he uses guilt to manipulate you, and he'll make you feel guilty, and he'll tell a story about how you're bad, and he'll socialize a narrative about how he's the victim and you're the evil one. If those are the reasons you're staying with him, even partially, you should just leave him. Seriously, if that's part of it. Oh, and thank you everyone for the feedback. I really, really do appreciate it. Christine Halliwell, you're up next. What advice do my ancestors and spirit guides have for me on making new friends? It takes time for me to trust new people. It should take time to trust new people, without a doubt. Oh, that's so nice. Just know it's happening, it's happening, it will happen, it should take time. There are moments when you're lonely and that's hard, but better to be lonely than to have to clean up the messes that other people make. Just be confident in yourself and heal from the things that have hurt you in the past, and you'll have friends. River's Edge, nice to see you. Friendships are the family in my life. Please offer some insight for this day, as the shifts are changing everything. All right. So I think for you, River's Edge, you're a person who really needs to be seen and heard. I think that you can sometimes be sort of a leader to the people around you. I think you're creative and you need to have creative people around you, but it's just really important. I think you've had so many people in your life who have not seen you, have not heard you, have not let you be you. And so it's important that that's the role that your friends play for you, that they see you. Not only do they let you be you, they appreciate that you're you, as they should. Pamela Scott, how do my friends view me? They think you're very stable and very reliable and take care of what you're supposed to take care of. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling through. Sorry, y'all know when I just shut up. Y'all are watching me and I'm just like scrolling. But you know that's what I'm doing. Oh, Julie, so you think maybe it's the others that are more the users. That makes sense. Winter, thank you, Winter. My dress and my glasses match. I hadn't really thought about that, but it's true. Okay. Betty Fleischer, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I have a friend of 38 years, Angie. Is she or has she been a true friend? I've been keeping at arm's length for a while now. Something feels off with her. You know, Angie is as she has always, she is as she has always been in a way, but in a way, I think something is off with her. I wonder if it's something health related that she's not yet aware of, but there is definitely something going on here. I think you're right to intuitively play this by ear. You don't have the bandwidth. If she is really about to go through something very difficult, you don't have the bandwidth for that. And there is something that just is very off for her. But I also know that there is love between the two of you, as there always has been. But I feel like you just don't have the time and energy here right now, and you don't have to. Is that okay? Was that mean? I didn't mean it for it to be mean. Janine, I'm just reading your feedback there. And I mean, maybe the way you tell the story is part of the problem. I mean, if I had things in my life now that I loved in college, that would be a bad scene. You know, just because this was a person that you were with in college. I mean, that not only is that not a reason to want to be with a person now, that's probably a red flag why you shouldn't. Just saying. Okay, Kanchan Verma. I've never been able to get really genuine friends. Had no choice but to cut these people off. You know, in time, you will make good friends. It will happen. Just give it time. Just give it time. You're creating the life you want. Oh, hang on a minute. I just overscrolled. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. And we're getting toward last call for readings, y'all. So if I've missed you, there's a few more I'm seeing and picking up. But if I've passed you and missed you, or if you haven't asked and you want to, good time to let me know. Jeannie Mnuchin, thanks for being a member. Thanks for being here. Are there things I can do to attract more friends during this time? And when will my life begin to be more full of friends? I mean, I think you're doing a fabulous job, and it just takes time. But I think you're doing exactly the right thing, and I think it's happening. The thing is, if it becomes too full of friends, that'll freak you out because that'll make you too busy. So we just want it to be the right amount full of friends. But I think it's coming. Baby Cakes in Iceland. Thank you so much. Glad you traveled safely. Glad you're with us today. Regards from Iceland. I have a few high school friends. We keep in touch all these years. Or I have a high school friend, sorry. We keep in touch all these years. Is she a good friend or a frenemy? I never know if she's naturally negative or jealous. Okay. Is this a friend? I think she's a friend. I mean, she might be negative and jealous at the same time, but that doesn't negate the fact that she's a friend. Now, you may not like the negativity and jealousy, and that's up to you what you want to do with that, but I think she is really a friend. Oh, Adrija, cool. We're going to talk soon. That's good. I'm happy about that. Oh, Betty, not mean at all. Okay, good. Good. I really try not to be mean, but, you know, I got that Scorpio tail. It kind of comes up once in a while. All right. My friends, from my perspective, I have come to the end of the requests. If I missed you, last call for readings, y'all. I am available for private sessions over the weekend, Friday, next week, whatever. Just reach out. If you haven't subscribed here, please do subscribe here. And make sure you subscribe to the newsletter as well. Get your StarCon ticket. Seriously. Do you have time? Yes. Is it better to get it sooner? Yes. If you possibly can, please do. Please get it sooner. That is a way that helps. So get your StarCon ticket as soon as you can. And my friends, I appreciate you all so much. Take really good care. Thank you all. Thanks for being my friends. And I'll be back tomorrow with the Friday Weekly wrap-up. Oh, Julie. Yes, thank you, Julie. Yeah, let me play with that. Julie. So what you're saying, you're wondering, because I didn't get a great read on those first two people, SRK and SS, but you all had those other people, and you're wondering, is it all of them? And so specifically, so SRK, they're not horrible people, but, they're fine. They're fine. I think the others are the worst ones, for sure. For sure. I think you're absolutely right about that. But, if these are your best friends, I still think you need better friends. Just saying. All right. My friends, take really good care. I'll look forward to seeing you soon.